What is up, everybody? It is your boy, the Versace Stoner, with another episode of VSW. Thank you. Y'all, again, far too kind. So, today, we're discussing wrestling video games. I'm sitting here right now looking at WWE 2K 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and Battlegrounds. Which one's my favorite? Which one's your favorite? Personally, I like 16, 18, and 19. 15 was fun for its storylines, but outside of that, it was very boring. 17 was boring. 16, I liked the storylines. And when I say storylines, I mean like the showcases where you can unlock characters, legends, etc. 19 got into a new era of it with the towers, which was very fun, kind of like a Mortal Kombat style way of playing, where you can work your way up to a tower and beat out the wrestlers. 20 copied that, but 20 had its flaws. 20, if you played it, was terrible from the start with its flaws in its glitches, never really getting addressed, poor graphics. WWE, 2K, losing Ukes was huge, very big, devastating. And the game was just thrown together. We were promised content that didn't even come out the first day. Meanwhile, some people that paid for it didn't even get it. All the content is the same wrestlers, just different costumes. And the roster to me was just, it was a big roster, but the legends weren't there. I'm glad they added Hogan back and some others, but they could have done more with the legends, especially with the storyline and you making it through the Hall of Fame. They could have done a lot more legend stuff, but that's just me. I'm a Legends man. I'm an old school wrestling fan. That's me. So then that moves us on to Battlegrounds, which is just a free-for-all brawl fun game. Great roster. They keep adding people every day, it seems. From yesterday's heroes to tomorrow's villains. They're there. And it's fun. It's just grab and play. Very little thought behind it. You go in, and it's fun. I like it. I enjoy it. But there's not much depth. When I mean depth, you have the universe mode of the 2K series, which is very fun and very repetitive. It's fun in the way that you can book your own show with your own people and do whatever you want. And you can, I run a channel on YouTube, Versace Stoner Wrestling, and you can see I host a bunch of different matches used from different 2K games. One series I run is matches you never saw, and the other is just VSW wrestling, and it's fun, and the matches are realistic, and everything's kind of cool, and it just works. But it also is very repetitive if you're not on the creative end of it, like making creative works of art out of the game. Older games had various GM modes that were a lot more funner. And everybody goes to that SmackDown vs. Raw game, and N64 games, and we could talk about PlayStation games. I like Warzone, very good game. You could create almost anybody in that if you went online in the early days of the internet. You could go check out Warzone CAW, CAW, and you would just pull up a list and it would tell you who they were and which which number to dial for each, facial hair, skin tone, pieces, what colors, everything. And it would just, there'd be pages and pages and websites of this stuff. And they had everybody, WCW guys, WWF guys, ECW guys, celebrities, anybody that you could think of, they made them. And that was fun. And, and they had other games after that, obviously, and before that. And it's the future of wrestling games coming. I don't know. I mean, you have the Retromania game, the sequel to WrestleFest, that just dropped on for PC. We're waiting on the console. I've been waiting over a year for this game. It has a killer roster. It's very old school, old graphics, but with new people, and it looks very fun. Can't wait to get my hands on it when it does come out for the Xbox. And let's see, I mean, will 2K come out with another game this year? They skipped last year. They did the whole thing with, Battlegrounds and getting away from the realistic wrestling scene. Will they regroup now and go back in and create another, game, another masterpiece game, fully made, not waiting, 3 or 4 months to add the creator belt back into it. A fully developed game. And who are they going to use? And that brings me to the question. It can't be used. We just got word about AEW. They're making their game scene. They just dropped an iOS game. AEW Casino. Or something like that. It's a little casino game with some AEW logos and stuff. Pretty fun. I heard you can win real merch and real stuff playing in tournaments. Cool. And they're also coming out with a booking game coming out later in the year, I guess, where you'll be able to book your own matches and run your own league, which is always fun. Heavily into that kind of games. I like 80s WrestleMania, 80s Mania Wrestling Challenge, and Modern Mania Wrestling. It's iOS games, and basically you make your own matches and put on shows, etc., etc. But AEW is making their version of that for the iOS, and then the big one coming out probably in the beginning of 2022. And that will be their video game, and they are using Ukes, and it's, from what I see, it looks good. It's gonna be probably great, knowing that most of the people are there are gamers themselves. So with that, it's it's bound to be a great game. It's gonna be a killer game. And I really can't wait to see what they have. And what they come out with in their roster, and how it grows, and who they're going to use. Obviously all the big names are going to be there. But will we see, the underbelly of the company, etc. and so forth? That I can't tell you. But knowing AEW and knowing them, they probably will. We will be mind blown by the game. And they listen to fans like they listen to their shows. They will put out something that wrestling fans and gamers will enjoy. Will WWE 2K be able to compensate and follow up with something to compete? Hopefully. I do miss a realistic wrestling game. 2020 I played a little bit, but it's not my funnest game. I continue to go back to 1918. 19 a lot for my shows, 18 too. I started picking up playing 15 again. We live in the John Cena saga with the CM Punk stuff, and but 20 is just and then I play it and I run my streams and it crashes halfway, and it's just crash and burn the whole thing. And I mean, come on, I'm the Versace Stone. I can't be dealing with that kind of bull. So instead, I'll go back to a more stable version. But anyways, I do hope they put out a competent game this year. You know, we have new people in the roster. We have new wrestlers. We have new gimmicks. Let's see these. You know, let's see the new Roman Reigns. Let's see the new Seth Rollins. You know, let's see these people. Let's see Riddle. Let's see the guys that have made it to the main roster. Give us more of a showcase and less of a career mode. You know, career mode's fun, but the 2020 career mode was different in the sense that it was more like a story guided play. That was pretty cool. I did enjoy that, actually. That was the one thing I did enjoy, was their story mode. Whereas, like, the other games are just kind of like, you start off as a newcomer, you play through, bing, bang, boom, and then you're on your way, just doing the same thing over and over again. 19 broke out a little bit with the whole BCW thing, but 2020 really was a different kind of story mode, in my opinion. With that being said, though, that's where the game just stopped being good. So yeah, I'd like to see like less of a story mode, I guess. More of that showcase, like 16, 15. You know, where we can get some real legends back in the ring. I'd like to see like a King Kong Bundy. You know, or some other legends that we had in the early WrestleManias. But that's just me. Like I said, I'm an old school wrestling fan. So that's basically what, we're just discussing the wrestling gaming situation here. There really hasn't been any other major companies that come out with wrestling games. New Japan did partner up with, Fire Pro a few years ago, and they came out with that. But the graphics, again, it's not like a realistic game. It is in the sense of its wrestling, it's very realistic, but in the sense of its graphics, it's not. Its dynamics are very good, and its fundamentals are great, but in the creative essence, you can create anything, again, customize the whole world. But it's not a New Japan wrestling game, per se, where, you're going to see Okada in 4K graphics, and you're controlling them. That's not there yet. There was an iOS game that was out for a minute, and then they got rid of it. I don't know why. It's pretty fun. Kind of like a guessing move game, and you had to kind of outwit your partner. But I would like to see more of that. I would like to see, maybe a Ring of Honor game or an Impact game. But who knows? Maybe AEW will have that all included, and with different expansion packs. Who knows where it goes with everybody partnering up. But we're just about out of time tonight. I do thank you all for listening. I am the Versace Stoner. Peace out.